Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Lens of Truth with me, Florentino. For today's video, I know a few people wanted me to show them how I do my thumbnails. There is not a right way or a wrong way to do so. There's a lot of programs that you can use like Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, but I am using Affinity Photo. But yeah, before we get started, if you're new to the channel, consider hitting the like button, ring the bell, leaving a comment. And if you do like more of these type of videos, make sure you comment on them, and I'll try and do more of these type of behind the scenes and tips and tricks type of videos for YouTube content creating. So if you guys have never heard of it, this is called Affinity Photo, and it is a one-time purchase program. Unlike Photoshop, the whole Adobe suite is super expensive. It's a subscription-based service. Affinity Photo, if you go onto their website, there is a download for Apple and for Windows as well. So I do have the older version, but it was a one-time payment. I got a sale on it, and you might even get a free trial. I think they do have like a month or a week, I don't remember, for a free trial for both Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, which is almost like Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. These two are really good for alternatives, so you won't be paying those full prices for something like Photoshop. But anyway, this is going to be a quick one. This is just the workflow or the way that I like to do my thumbnails for both my art YouTube channel and here on my gaming channel as well. So I like to be consistent in my branding, I guess you would call it. My color scheme is this that I use for every video. I kind of already have it here. It's already locked that I made myself. This is my Lens of Truth border that I like to use for everything, just so it's consistent. And this one is just a very quick way that I like to do my thumbnails. Is I like to have a photo of myself that I sometimes reuse for older videos, newer videos. So this one is one that I usually have it on the left, right, or middle. And when it comes to background colors, I usually have a solid background. This is what it looks like without it. For the most part, yellow and red are really eye-catching, and because I am doing this cocoa thumbnail, I do have this one. Sometimes it is a Google image of the entire game right here, so I think I might be using a blend of both. It just kind of depends on, as I'm playing around with moving JPEGs around, how it's going to look like. So I do have my official cocoa, the finished fan art that I did here from one of my live streams. So this is going to be the edited version of it for this video that I'm doing, or the thumbnail. So this is Coco right here that I did myself. It turned out really well. And yeah, I feel like if I do this, I might have to play around with maybe changing the way that the blend modes are for at least for this JPEG right here. So I'm just gonna try just different ways to see if it looks good, because I want the main focus to be Coco and a little bit of the background to be, you know, that of Crash. So I usually like to play around with these blend modes and just to see which one looks the best. But this one is obviously blending with the yellow background. So and if not, I can easily just do this. I can easily just move the opacity and play around with this. But it looks okay. Not. Yeah, we're gonna kind of just turn that off for now. And I might even just change the color overlay by selecting this or this background that I have here, this effects button right here or down here. You can play around with different colors by using a color overlay. And if you're wondering how I ended up getting this pixel, I'll show you how to easily make a solid colored background so you can play around with whatever thumbnail aesthetic you like. So if you go down here to the right hand corner next to the trash can, there is a pixel button right here, which all it does is create a new layer. And if you go into the very top and go to edit, fill, you can fill with primary color, secondary color. So if you go to fill, you can actually choose any color you would like. So I'm thinking of doing some kind of a pinkish or maybe an orange color to kind of match with the whole Crash Bandicoot aesthetic. And if not, it might actually be some kind of a blue. I'm not sure yet. This is how I do my stuff. I kind of just play around with it. And you know what? Because blue is a darker color and she stands out very well with it, I think it's going to be a darker blue for this one. So as soon as I choose that, I apply it and there we go. And you know what? Now that this somehow you know what? It's working. I have this ready. I'm gonna move Coco a little bit to the right hand side. This is actually perfect because the blend mode is gonna work in our favor this time. To have, you know, Crash in the background, even though he's not the main focus for this, it just works. So I'm gonna turn back the opacity all the way up, and now we can try these blend modes again to see if we find something that can work. And you know what? I feel like this average one is working, and we're going to turn it down even more with the opacity. So again, it's always just, you have to play around with what you are going for. And I do like this. And next, and again, you guys, I found all of these images on Google. So for example, this Crash Bandicoot logo, I literally typed in Crash Bandicoot logo PNG on Google and it found this one. I just dragged it on my desktop, dropped it in here, and it's ready to go. Nothing complicated. I'm gonna actually make this a little bit smaller, just like so. And what I like to do, if you guys want to see how I blend things in, I'm gonna remove her just so you guys can see. So if I double click or right click, if you go to rasterize, this is very important. If you rasterize any of your JPEGs, any artwork that you have, you can start editing it easily. So if I go to my eraser tool, erase brush tool right here, if I click the brackets to make them larger, I'm just gonna blend erase this right here. And what I mean by that, if I go to brushes to the top right, I like choosing a blend erase brush because I like to make sure that there's a soft erasing so that my background shows if I do happen to erase. And there we go. That's a little bit smoother how I erased this part of this artwork right here. I'm going to turn back Coco, this logo. And the last thing that I do like to do is sometimes add text. If you guys see all of my thumbnails, that's what I like to do. I have a few saved ones over here. So this one, I'm just going to type in fan art like so. And with the idea, I guess at least for me, when it comes to catchy thumbnails, is at least in the way that I do it, I like to have a photo of myself. I'm always playing around with different photos. This one's pretty big enough to know that it's me. I do like to have something to kind of make it look a little bit balanced. I don't want it to just be flat, so that's why I like to tilt it, because it is a little bit more playful. And for the most part, this here is around 25 points for this font. I want it to be big, not small. And the main focus is Coco, so I might actually add a drop shadow with the effects button over here. Easily add a drop shadow. And you can see it in real time. And I just want this to stand out. And I think that is my thumbnail. I might sometimes add an arrow. I literally have I try to make sure everything is neat. I sometimes have all these arrows that I have saved over here. I mean, if it makes sense, I'm not sure. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it looks okay. Yeah, you know what? An arrow works. But the main thing about a catchy thumbnail is that things have to look balanced. And you know what? I might even add, because it is cocoa, but... And see, this one might be a little bit too big. So maybe I'll just bring this together. I just have to play around with it a little bit more. Sometimes I go over the border, which is okay for me. I'm gonna play around with, if I go to adjustments, actually to character, if I go to this section right here with the double A and the arrows, I can kind of bring things together. And see, this brings in the font a little bit closer, makes things a little bit neater. You know, so this is actually working right here. So yeah, you guys, that is my thumbnail on how I create them in Adobe Illustrator. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this video. Let me know if you have any ideas on the way you guys create thumbnails. I know there's a lot of programs out there that are free, that are browser based. You can literally go on Google, type them in, and see which ones you like. And again, this is the way I create thumbnails. I like to have things that are similar in color. So we have the yellows, reds, and a dominant color in the background. I don't like to have too many colors so that it's all over the place. So it's all up to you guys. Make sure that the colors are balanced, that something doesn't dominate over the other. And again, just experiment. If you go to my older thumbnails, some of them used to look pretty okay. I've been improving them slowly. It's all about experimenting. Sure that when you save it, if you go to File, make sure you go to File, Export, and you go to JPEG. Don't export layers, hidden by export persona. As long as the file size is less than 1 gigabyte, I think at least for YouTube thumbnail sizes, you can double check on what the pixel sizes for thumbnails are and around the size. So it's as long as it's under 1 gigabyte, I think you should be fine. You go to export. What I like to do, and if there's a lot of videos showing this, that it does help with the algorithm on YouTube, make sure you properly title this before you upload any edited video, edited gameplay of anything, even with thumbnails, but this is specifically thumbnails. I'm gonna title this How to Draw Coco Bandicoot, and then maybe I'll do a /Crash Bandicoot fan art. For the most part, look at what popular videos show up on YouTube and see what type of titles they're using, and you might be able to see which videos are most likely to be viewed. So that's how I title my videos, but kind of make sure you title them what you are doing in the video. And obviously when you upload your video, you properly title that one as well. Use the hashtags. You have to make sure you do your research when it comes to all that. And yeah, and when you save it, you can see what you titled it right over here by just using the space bar if you're using a MacBook, or use, I think, properties as an option to check how you titled it. Yeah, as long as you title it something properly, you have more chances of people finding it on YouTube. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what you think, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.